Okay, so I am set up and I'm prepared to start. So I'm going to just go through a few of the things that I actually need in order to get going. The first thing is your sterling silver scraps. So we have that all set up. It was collected various things. Next thing is the kiln, which actually burns up to a couple thousand degrees, but I'll burn at 1090 degrees. There's a little crucible that's in there, graphite crucible, which is where the metals get melted down to liquid form, and inside there's just a little probe which heats up and brings that internal temperature, so the whole thing heats evenly. After the metal becomes liquid form, you need to get it into a form in order to pour the bar, and this is a little graphite bar form which you pour the liquid into. I have it sitting on the burner because you need to bring that up to a hot temperature similar to what the liquid metal is, so it doesn't form a uneven bar. You want something nice and smooth that looks pretty. Then I'll heat this on a high, and then I'll bring it over to here, so when I pour the metal into it, this will be hot, and if there's any spillage I can get it into this stainless steel pan. This is my graphite bar, which is on a set of hemostats, and this goes in when you're actually in liquid form. You put this in and stir it around into the liquid, and then the impurities that are on the silver will stick to the graphite bar and you would pull them out. What helps that process is by adding a chemical to it, which is called flux, and this is a black sand graphite flux, which helps the liquid flow better and brings the impurities to the top. And then when it clings to the impurities, turns to like a liquid glass, and when you stick the graphite in there, it sticks to the graphite bar, and you can pull any dirt and impurities out of the sterling silver. So when you pour it, you're getting a pure metal. That's really it. That's all that's really involved in it. And here is when everything's hot, you actually use the grabbers to take it and then to pour it into the form. Important note is that you need ventilation because there is some small fumes that come from it. So I set up a small fan to pull the air out, and you're always working with your safety gloves. I also wear a Carhartt jacket when I'm doing it, just so if anything splashes up, it's less fire risk. And then most importantly, if anything goes wrong, you need your fire extinguishers, which I have two here, and then a third one over here. Everything's also set up with fire alarms around, so in case there be no mishaps. So I'll come back to you once I get the fan running, and I'll show you how I load up the crucible. Okay, so I have the crucible loaded up, and this is what's left. As that melts down, when it comes to a melting point, it'll go down, and then I can get the rest of the sterling into there. I'm going to have the fan running, and I'm going to start the furnace up, and there we go. She's up there testing, so we'll bring it to 1090 degrees, and right now it's 13 degrees. So I'll keep you updated as we go along. So just a quick update. It's been about 7 minutes, 8 minutes. We're up to 207 degrees, and you can see how the temperature's going up. It moves pretty quickly, so it does come to temperature fairly quickly. I just also want to add, I added a bucket of water here just to cool down the bar, because once you dump it out and the bar is solid, it will cool down pretty rapidly if you just put it right in the cold water, and it doesn't change the form of it at all. It just makes it faster and easier to work with. So I do have that pan of water I put out. Another quick item I forgot to add in is you need this propane torch. You just want to keep everything as hot as possible, because silver cools down so quickly to become solid form to liquid form that you really want to, by the time you're just taking it out of the kiln to bring it over to the form, it can solidify. So you want to keep everything hot just in that transfer process. Make sure all your surfaces are really hot, and it makes for a smoother pour. So here we have my torch. You'll see how I use it during my pour. Okay, we're up to like 486 degrees, and I'm going to open the kiln just to show you. There's really not going to be much going on here. You see a little bit of smoke that's coming through. That's burning off some of the impurities. That's part of the reason why you want the fan to suck that out, so you don't have anything. I'll open it up and you'll see there's really not much going on in there yet. You're not even going to get really a slight glow of anything yet. It's just things are starting to come a little bit warmer. So I'll keep you posted as we get a little higher. We should start seeing a glow around 800 degrees. Okay, so we're at 800 and we're climbing. Let's open it up and check to see. Once I get the glow, I'll switch to my red gloves with the leather just to make sure, because we're starting to work with higher temperatures. So here we go. I'll try and get an overhead shot. You start to see a little bit of glow down there, and that'll start liquefying it as we get higher temperature. I'm going to close that up to keep the temperature in there, keep it nice and hot. We'll be back. Okay, so we're at around 925 degrees, and what I'm going to do is open it up so we can take a look. And there we have it. There you go. So it started to melt down. I'm going to leave that open now, and I'm going to transfer some of the other metal that needs to get in there to melt down. So we'll start with some of the bigger pieces. See how that will go down. There it goes. Now you might get a little flare up when you do this, so you want to just be careful, because that's going in at a different temperature, and you want to make sure that everything gets melted down nice and properly. Throw some more pieces in. Give that a chance to heat up a little bit. Bring that back to temperature. And then we'll open it up and we'll add some more. You see the smoke coming through because that fresh metal went in there. Has some dirt and impurities on the top, so that's burning off. Sometimes when you put a piece in, that might have a little residue from like the ceramic fill that was in the weighted candlesticks. You'll see a flame come up. It's normal, it's just burning off. So let's get this opened up. There you go, we got some room. Take a peek down in there. That's what we look like, and we're gonna add some more in. We'll bend that one up. I'm going to close this up a little bit, and we'll come back to it. I want to bend some of these pieces up so they're smaller to get in the kiln. We'll be back. Okay, we're back. Here we go. I'm going to get the rest of these pieces in. I'll add some flux into the furnace to get a nice clean burn. Oh, see, there you go, that smoke. Here's the last piece, and give me a little trouble right at the end. All right, there we go. We're going to close this up. Let that do its thing. Let that burn off. Oh, before I do that, I do want to add some flux in there in order to get a nice burn, because we'll mix that up. There you go. Now we'll get this closed, and we'll let that go on. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the oven, the stove part of it, to high, because I want that crucible to get hot, and I want this pan here to also be hot. So I'm going to turn that front burner on there and the back left there. So we'll get those nice and hot, and I'll come back and we'll stir up that silver, pull out some of those impurities, and we'll get ready to do our pour. Okay, we're at about 1035 degrees. I just want to open that kiln up and kind of show you, see if I could get a shot of what's going on in there. See some of those impurities burning? And there you go, you have liquid bubbling metal in there that's going to be coming out. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to run my flux through there, and we'll get that stirred up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the kiln, see if you can see that nice glow, see some of that flame. I'm going to run the graphite stick in there just to stir it up, and we're going to get any of those impurities out of there. Just give it a nice stir. You'll see all that that's stuck to there? That turned to actual glass that bonded with the impurities and the sand and the silt from the flux and created like a black glass. And that's how you pull out those impurities. So we'll leave that there, and we'll come back to that. I think we're pretty good with taking out the impurities. And we have the crucible heated over there on high. We got this pan here heated. I'll transfer that crucible over to this pan and get ready for the pour in just a few minutes. We're at 1073. I want to make sure we get it up to 190, and we want to keep that just going for a little bit to make sure that we get a nice smooth pour on the bar. I'll be back. Okay, well, I'm going to open that kiln up now. I want to do one more sweep to pull out the impurities to make sure everything's out, and then that'll be the last time I open it before the final pour. I'm going to bring this in now. Just give that a nice stir. See what we got out there. There you go. That's set to go. I'm closing this back up. We'll let it go just for a little bit. And we're going to get ready for the pour. The next time I'm back, you're going to see the final pour. Okay, we're going to do this pour again. You're never going to see that first pour I did because I'm not going to show you because it was that bad. So you ready? Here we go again. We're getting ready to do it. I got my torch here. Keep this nice and hot. Going to bring this up. There we go. And here we go. much better. All right, there we go. We're going to shut that off, close this up. That'll have to cool down. You see, the bad thing I did there is I did it without gloves, but it was a much better pour, and unfortunately my hands work better without those big clunky gloves. I really have to get a better alternative. So I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to turn this bar out so you could see it. It's ready. I can actually turn it out now. Bring it up here. Go here. There's your bar right there. You can bring this here. And we're going to cool that down relatively quickly. I could take the bar and bring that right into the water right there. There you go. And once we're done, I'll buff that all up to make it nice and shiny, and we'll weigh it and get it stamped. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, see what we got here. Here's the pour right out of the water. Looks like it's a pretty good bar. There's a little waviness to the top of it, but we got nice, almost smooth bottom. And we'll get this cleaned up, take some. It doesn't look like much like shiny sterling silver, but it is. We'll clean up that outside and get that polished up, and then we'll do some weighing it and get it stamped out. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, here's the piece. I just took a little polishing rouge to it. I put some steel wool on it, just take off that outside. It's starting to look more like silver. I'll get some, looks like a little work of art there. They always do on top. I'll get some sterling silver polishing cream on that. Then we'll get it weighed up and we'll get it stamped. And I'll come back and show you the finished product.